We got some late breaking news tonight as Ross Dellinger's report talking about potentially $500 million in private equity for the Big 12, which is enormous. And could Brett Yormark be thinking 10 miles ahead with Florida State tied into this? Listen to what I have to say. You'll be pretty surprised.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia. We're talking a little bit of Big 12 football tonight, a little bit of Big 12 everything tonight. As if you haven't heard by now, there is a big-time report out right now talking about private equity for the Big 12. We'll talk about what that means, up to $500 million for the conference, which would be $30 million per team, and some other tie-ins that I have kind of tried to piece in here. We'll talk about those. But before we do that, let's talk about FanDuel, guys. Right now with FanDuel, if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com to place your live NFL bets all season long. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, Mountaineers, every single day. We also talk Big 12, obviously, which is what this is. This is a more Big 12-centric episode, but it impacts the Mountaineers, obviously, very, very could be a monster deal for all teams involved in the Big 12. So let's kind of discuss what this is. As of today, the Big 12 Conference is nearing the finalization, potentially, of a major capital partnership with RedBird Capital Partners, which is it's a New York-based firm. They have like $12 billion in assets. Then you've got Weatherford Capital. This is the key part. Weatherford Capital, right? So this isn't an equity sale. This is the league and its membership schools, including West Virginia, that would be should retain 100% ownership here. Instead, it's a credit-based arrangement that could provide up to $500 million in total if all 16 schools opt in. That means each potentially getting around $30 million in low-interest credit lines. You'll have access seemingly to as much or as little as you want of that. This is being led by Commissioner Brett Yormark. But you've also got Kansas President Doug Girod in this, obviously the league chair. And they've been in negotiations for over a year, it seems, according to Dellinger. And so we're talking about, we've had 3-ish years of these exploration of private capital options. So, this has been going on. Obviously, we heard over the summer, maybe 150, 200 million. Now that's gone up to 500 million. So the temperature's turned up on this thing. It's a 3-part package. First, it'll be an initial cash infusion into the Big 12 office to enhance commercial operations, which potentially could create some new businesses or investing in some new revenue type generating companies. It would also the optional 30 million credit per school at reduced rates, which would mean like West Virginia or any other team in the Big 12 could use it for debt relief, NIL, collectives. I'm assuming NIL. I don't know. It may not outside the cap NIL. I don't know. I don't think it would. I don't know. I don't know how that could be used. Maybe you could use it for that. Or if you have the, obviously the cap, if you want to use it for that. And then third, it's obviously a strategic business partnership where RedBird and Weatherford help identify investment opportunities inside and outside collegiate athletics for revenue streams and asset growth. So basically, what needs to happen now is the Big 12 presidents and channelers so far has authorized Yormark to advance toward finalizing the deal, with the long-form agreements expected to be completed in the next couple of weeks here. So what we're thinking is this would make it the first publicized conference-wide capital agreement in major college sports. There's good and bad to that, right? Because it's obviously the good is you're the first, which means it puts you out ahead. The bad is other teams can react and put more distance back in front of you again, and it's nothing changes. But we've already seen the Big Ten put resistance to that. Assumingly, you would assume the SEC may do something similar as well. So it's not just a given that these things are going to happen for other conferences. Maybe the Big 12 can catch up a little bit with the deal like this. Becomes amid financial pressures from expanding budgets, right? We've talked about that. So obviously, we're going to talk about the FSU connection here in just a second. How does that tie in? We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Let me finish my rundown on exactly what this all is. But, obviously, if you're talking about $130 million in debt for a place like West Virginia, right? You've got commitments to full revenue sharing and expanded scholarships. So this would obviously provide crucial flexibility without requiring immediate university subsidies or donor reliance, which is exactly what every school needs, right? So that means it's separate from any individual school deals like Utah's recent equity partnership with Autro Capital or whatever, right? So there's a ton to to assess here, and we'll see what happens. But it seems like the overall, what I've read and what I've seen, it seems a lot of people feel like this is a low risk venture with a lot of upside. So, there's a lot to like about it. Obviously, everything has its pros and its cons, right? You're going to get financial flexibility and relief. You're going to get a competitive boost. You're going to have league-wide growth, right? You're going to have expansion potential, low immediate risk. Like there's a ton there. There's also the repayment burdens. There's also internal disparities potentially. If not all schools opt in, what happens then? You get the loss of autonomy because if you have an external partner, they're going to want to make decisions. It's just the fact of the matter. You've got regulatory risks as far as what about anything that could be seen as anti-competitive, right? What about the tax-exempt statuses, which could challenge, there's challenges with that as well amid political pressures on college sports and finances, right? And then there's obviously some speculative downsizes as well that we can look at. But I think, at the end of the day, this was overall, I think for me, my opinion, a pretty good thing for the league. But if you want to take it up a notch with the Notre Dame thing and all that just is bringing on the ACC right now, the ACC has never been more vulnerable. Could Brett Yormark be taking advantage of this situation, trying to poach Florida State with this unique situation? We'll talk about that next. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Rougiette. That's right, guys. We're talking about Rougiette on this one, and there's a reason why. Let's talk about something most men don't bring up, but absolutely should. Stress from work, from money in life, it doesn't just switch off at night, right? When it shows up the worst possible time, and you know what time when you're trying to get busy, Rougiette Ready is designed to help you take back control. Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment created to support both the brain and body so you can feel present, confident, and ready when the moment matters. Now, Rougiette combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. It's easy to understand why over 150,000 men have made that switch. If you've been thinking about taking the next step and making that same switch, now's the time. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnCollege. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege to get 15% off your order today for a limited time. You can be Rougiette ready too if you want to feel present, feel confident, and feel ready. And of course, our friends at FanDuel say hello as NFL Sundays are moving fast. One big play and then suddenly everything feels different, right? That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting for you. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. So with FanDuel, you can place live bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, and every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. Receiver gets hot, the defense tightens up, or momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up, and you can actually bet the next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. You can place your live NFL bets all season long. You're going to do that here with FanDuel, where the game moves fast, and so can you. It's segment 2. Let's crack open a do, guys, as we discuss what you're all probably here for. All of the money's great, no doubt. But what about that pesky Florida State tie-in? What's that all about? So this is just, something I am speculating on, based on, I just like anybody else, I love, realignment news. I love this private equity stuff. Like, it's interesting to me. It's grown on me over the years. And one thing I know is that Weatherford's connection here could spark some expansion talk potentially. It's an intriguing layer to this because Weatherford Capital has deep ties to Florida State, right? Which could position the Big 12 for potential expansion. Drew Weatherford, the founding member of Weatherford Capital, is the former Florida State quarterback from 04 to 08, I think. Right now, he's on Florida State's Board of Trustees, where he's been through 2020, from 2022 all the way through at least 2026. So as a trustee, he has significant influence over university decisions. He has, that means the budget, that means strategic planning, that means athletics, all areas that are directly relevant to conference realignment. So the relevance to the Big 12 deal is this. Since Weatherford Capital co-founded the Collegiate Athletic Solutions, CAS, with RedBird in 2024, a fund specifically for college sports investments could lend up to $2 billion to athletic departments. This partnership is going to be central to the Big 12's current proposal, right? So that makes his involvement a potential bridge to Florida State. So while he isn't directly involved in Florida State's own private equity pursuits necessarily, as he said in an article I read where he said in 2024, but he does have dual roles going on here that kind of create a natural connection, right? So that means, along with Clemson, they settled lawsuits with the ACC in March, right? Which resolved some disputes over revenue and grant of rights agreements that locks them into 2036. But Florida State has expressed concerns about falling behind in relevance and revenue, with trustees like Weatherford voicing fears of the ACC potentially, becoming irrelevant, right, in the Power 2 era. So that was, and I think it could also be potentially serve as maybe a back channel incentive for Florida State to explore jumping to the Big 12, especially if Yormark's open, he's obviously going to be open to it. So that's a big deal. The implications are this: you add Florida State, a 3-time national champion with a massive market. It could boost the Big 12's media value by at least 20 or 30%, which would enhance TV deals. It would enhance distributions for schools like West Virginia, and it would also create some new rivalries and excitement in the league. Yeah, it's speculative for now, but I think it's not coincidental. I think his background in sports investments and being the minority owner of the Tampa Bay Rays and all the things he's involved in down there, this dude's got a lot of pull, and his Florida State loyalty could make him a key figure in bridging private capital with realignment. Guys, look, this is talking about you. Here's the pitch. You say Florida State, look, you're a big fish in a big pond in the ACC right now with other schools. Come over to the Big 12 and be a part of this. And in the meantime, between time, you kill the ACC anyway, and hopefully you get some of those squads as well. But for my money, I think Florida State, from a brand standpoint, the crown jewel of the ACC in a lot of ways, and this would be a large get for the Mountaineers and for the Big 12. So that's kind of my spin on it. I think it's something to look at. And, basically, if there's ever going to be a time for Florida State to do this, now is the time. Now is the time, right? You could probably get it all on track and together over the next couple of years, potentially. So I'm curious how you guys feel about that. Obviously, the FSU tie-ins, it could fizzle. It could lead to instability. It could distract from core operations, within the Big 12, because maybe you should be focusing on other things. And sure, it could inflate some temporary things, but I think overall, guys, this would be one avenue to at least explore. If I'm Brett Yormark, I'm I'm pounding that Weatherford pavement, right? Like I'm trying to get in there. But the thing is, guys, this is not a coincidental deal. This is a deal that's been struck up out of probably a mutual interest in let's see what happens down the road, right? Let's try to figure this thing out, whether that's maybe the conferences merge, whether that's scheduling agreement, whether that's just getting Florida State out. I don't know. But I mean, when you look at it, I mean, look at you don't hear about this. This isn't happening for the ACC right now. This is happening for the Big 12. So with what the Big 12 already makes, you're talking about getting into the 50 to $60 million range. Maybe a little more. I can't even remember what we make every year now anymore. And it's always changing. But, I think, as for now anyways, until maybe the Big 10 or SEC, if they do a deal, then obviously this changes. But you see the Big 12 kind of catching up in revenue a little bit here. And is that tempting to Florida State? Do they think that this would be maybe potentially a better future with the Big 12, especially since you've already got UCF, you've already got West Virginia, you've already got Cincinnati on this side of the United States. Is it as sexy as the SEC? No, it's not. Is it as sexy as the Big 10? No, it's not. But you can damn guarantee that you're going to be, if you're Florida State, you're going to be in the conversation for the college football playoff every single year. Doesn't matter where you come from. It just matters that you get there. Why would you want to go through the gauntlet of the SEC or the Big 10, quote unquote? Because I sometimes laugh about that, because while the SEC is a pretty heavy gauntlet, and most especially this year, the Big 10 still had a lot of gimmies compared to the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12 had a couple gimmies this year. Oklahoma State, West Virginia could be for upper tier teams. Colorado. Outside of that, though, there wasn't a whole lot of just straight up gimmies in the Big 12 this year. I think the Big 10 has its share of gimmies, So anyways, that's kind of my spin on it. Obviously, you're going to get to $30 million per school. That's enormous. It's going to help a lot. But I do think the Weatherford capital part of this is a piece of this that maybe not a lot of people are putting together yet, or maybe they are. And maybe I'm in my own bubble on this, but it was probably one of the first things I thought of when I realized who that was, looking into who are these partners and then figuring out, oh, wait, this is that guy. This is that guy, that played at Florida State. Because I remember he was there basically right after Chris Winkie, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, I remember when he was there. He came right after Peter Wark and those boys. So, this is a really successful guy too, man. This is somebody I think the Big 12 / West Virginia could potentially really do well to have on board in not only the league, but just in college football, man. We need more guys that have, connections like this to be having some say in college football, which is like, whether that's the dude from Texas Tech or whether that's other guys in the space like Cody Campbell. I do think that the more we can wrestle away decisions from the NCAA, the better. That's just how I feel about it. Let's go to break one more time, guys, and we'll put a bow on this one. Thanks for sticking around here on Paul After Dark on this episode of Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Aura Frames. And with Aura Frames, we got to let you know the holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap, it's a way to share memories. Aura isn't just your average picture frame either. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it out if you want. So when they plug it in, memories are already there. Simple stuff. No apps to figure out, no headaches to figure out when you're setting that thing up. Just instant smiles. Give it to grandpa. Give it to the parents, if your parents, if you want to. Give it to the newlyweds. Give it to Mamaw, as we say in West Virginia. Anyone who loves photos. Endless photos are available on this thing, and pictures, and up to 30-second videos too, through the Aura app. And if you want a personalized message, well, you can write inside the frame so it feels the gift is very thoughtful, and it's right there the moment it's open for them. It's a holiday gift that actually gets used, not forgotten in a drawer, and packaging comes gift ready. No price tag, no wrapping, just a huge win. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting rframes.com, where you can get $35 off RFrames' best-selling carbon matte frames. Named number one by Wirecutter by using promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code COLLEGE. This deal is exclusive through listeners and shows. Listen, they sell out fast, guys. Frames are going to sell out fast. Order yours now. Get it in time for the holidays, and support the show if you can by mentioning us at checkout here at Locked On West Virginia, where the terms and conditions do apply. And ready then. We are done here, guys. A couple other quick thoughts here. Appreciate you all so much for joining in. Like I said, it's a late night. I get it, 100%. We'll just kind of give you guys a quick rundown on my thought processes for this. So obviously we know $500 million is way more than the rumors over the summer, which were between 100 to $2 million, depending on where you looked. So some said 250 to 3 I saw. But this is a lot more. This is a line of credit. So it's a little different. You're going to have a deal on it, quote unquote. It's like basically giving each team their own credit card. It's what this is. Seriously. The big key to this, in my opinion, is the strategic partners involved. RedBird obviously is they're a media source, right? I mean, if you look at how Yormark has positioned the Big 12, I mean, RedBird is, as a partner, brings media muscle for the next TV cycle, right? The current ESPN Fox deal runs through 2031. So if you want an exclusive negotiation window, potentially opening in 26 or 27, then you need to be able to renegotiate early for stability. And RedBird already has a $2 billion investment in the Skydance Paramount merger, right? So they closed that in August. So this gives them insider credentials in Hollywood. It gives them insiders for streaming. Paramount is already owned by CBS Sports, which is a key player in college broadcasts. And they're even backpacking Paramount's recent hostile birds for Warner Brothers. So if you want, this is you need some aggressive deal making, and this is it. So this could help the Big 12 pitch premium content, guys. Like, this is what I'm trying to say is there's a lot here, right? And if you look at the Weatherford connection part of this, it's interesting because Drew Weatherford, obviously the former quarterback at Florida State, founding partner of Weatherford Capital alongside his brothers, deeply tied to Florida State, serves on the board of trustees, and Weatherford Capital has a history of college sports investments via the college athletic sports solutions thing that they have. So they have co-founded that with RedBird, and Florida State's in a messy spot with the SEC. We know that. They're suing over to exit over revenue disparities. As of right now Notre Dame is pissed. What's going to happen to the ACC? Nobody knows. So you might as well go ahead and shoot your shot now. And having an FSU insider like Drew involved could help grease the wheels for a jump, for if they want to finally make the move. Maybe a back channel talks is how you do it. I don't know. It's speculative for now, but I think it's something to look into. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. And for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team every single day. I appreciate it, guys. I'm going to bounce out on that note. Thought I'd bring this to the table. Did a little couple hours of research, and this is what I had. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. We will talk later about it. But like I said, guys, like, subscribe, be a part of the Everydayer Club as well. It would mean a lot. If you're curious as to what the Everydayer Club is, I'm glad you asked. Since you're probably a hardcore fan, if you're still listening right now, which right around 100 of you guys are, or at least on YouTube for now. The Everydayer Club is something that we have going for people who are everydayers, right? I mean, if you want to be that person that never misses an episode, make it official. Join the Locked On Everydayer Club and get ad-free audio. You get access to our free members Discord and more, all built for our most loyal fans. And here's the link. I'll put it in the chat box. It's also going to be pinned to the comments so that you can see that as well. Make sure, that you check this out ASAP, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one. Thanks for making us your first listen. Make Locked On Big 12 your second listen, and we'll see you guys in the morning here on Locked On West Virginia, where we always need to remind you, don't predict those country roads. We'll see you after the Ohio State game tomorrow. Hopefully West Virginia wins, but we'll see you then. Win or draw. Win, lose, or draw. Good night, y'all.